Around the year 2000, Capcom, known for titles like Resident Evil and Street Fighter, was looking to create a Western game inspired by its old arcade game Gun.Smoke. They entrusted this project to a talented and fledgling American studio in San Diego named Angel Studios. This studio had previously proven its technical capabilities by developing games like Midtown Madness and porting Resident Evil 2 to the Nintendo 64. The project that kicked off at Angel Studios was initially intended to be an arcade-style Western game with a story inspired by spaghetti Western films. The development team began their work, and the initial ideas for what would later become Red Dead Revolver were formed during this period. At the same time, Rockstar Games, which had become a giant in the gaming industry with the remarkable success of Grand Theft Auto 3, was looking to expand its development teams. They had worked closely with Angel Studios on projects like the Midnight Club series and were impressed by the team's talent and abilities. In November 2002, in a strategic move, Rockstar Games fully acquired Angel Studios and renamed it Rockstar San Diego. With this acquisition, all of Angel Studios' projects and employees came under the Rockstar umbrella. But there was one major problem. Although Rockstar now owned the development studio, the intellectual property IP rights for their Western project were still held by Capcom. Due to development issues and a shift in its internal strategy, Capcom was gradually losing interest in the project and at one point even officially canceled it. Rockstar, seeing high potential in this Western game, did not want the project to die. They entered into negotiations with Capcom. Ultimately, Rockstar Games succeeded in acquiring the full rights to the Red Dead game from Capcom in a deal. The details of this agreement were never fully disclosed, but some reports suggest that Rockstar obtained this valuable IP in exchange for the publishing rights to another game. After acquiring the full rights to the game, the Rockstar San Diego team, with the direct support and supervision of Rockstar's top executives like Sam Houser, resumed work on the project. They discarded many of Capcom's initial ideas and rebuilt the game according to their own design philosophy. The focus on a more cinematic story, stronger character development, and unique gameplay mechanics like Deadeye was added during this period. This redevelopment process took several years. The team that had started work in 2000 under Capcom was now in a completely different environment and with a new vision, creating Rockstar's first Western game. Finally, after nearly 4 years of turbulent development, Red Dead Revolver was released in May 2004 for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox consoles, laying the foundation for one of the most popular and acclaimed series in video game history. Red Dead Revolver. Release 2004. Meta 74. Release platforms PlayStation 2, Xbox. Cost unknown. Sell 1 million copies. Playtime. Main story 7 hours. Main plus extras 8 hours. Completionist 19 hours. Let's go back to 2004. At that time, the Western genre was considered dead in the world of gaming. Everywhere was filled with fantasy, sci-fi, and war games, and few studios dared to venture into the dusty and ruthless world of the Wild West. But Rockstar, the same company that was causing chaos in the city with GTA, decided to swim against the current. They went for a Western, but not just any ordinary Western. Red Dead Revolver was a tribute to spaghetti Western films, those movies full of tense duels, quiet heroes, and ruthless anti-heroes that are etched in our minds with Ennio Morricone's music. This game wasn't meant to be an accurate simulator of the Wild West. Rather, it aimed to directly deliver that cinematic and exaggerated feeling of legendary gunslingers to us. The game's story is a classic and straightforward tale of revenge. It's about a boy named Red who, as a child, witnesses the brutal murder of his parents. The only things left for him from that day are a special revolver and a burning scar on his hand that shapes his new identity as a ruthless bounty hunter. Years later, while killing for money, Red gets closer step by step to the people who destroyed his life to complete his revenge. The story might seem simple, but its engaging character development and fantastic atmosphere will keep you hooked until the end. But what made Red Dead Revolver special was its fast-paced and arcade-style gameplay. There was no large open world for free roaming like in Redemption. The game was completely linear, taking you from one stage to the next right into the action. The heart of the gameplay was two incredible mechanics. The first was the breathtaking duel system. The camera would switch to a cinematic mode, and you had to draw your weapon at the right moment, just like Clint Eastwood, and finish your opponent. The thrill of these duels was pure and unrepeatable. And the second mechanic was none other than the birth of the legendary Deadeye system. By activating it, time would slow down, giving you the chance to lock onto several points on your enemies' bodies, and then, like a deadly robot, Red would riddle them all with bullets in a fraction of a second. This system gave you that sense of power and skill you would expect from a legendary gunslinger. Graphically, the game shined with its unique art style. The developers deliberately created a cinematic and dusty atmosphere using filters that gave the feel of old grainy films. Everything, from the characters' faces to the game environments, reminded you of Sergio Leone's movies, and this was the game's greatest strength. When Red Dead Revolver was released, it surprised both critics and gamers. Many praised its incredible atmosphere and exciting gameplay, but some also criticized its short and linear story. However, everyone agreed on one thing. Rockstar had successfully revived the Western genre in an engaging and entertaining way. Today, this game might seem simple compared to masterpieces like Red Dead Redemption 2, but it was actually the spark that ignited the fire of this great series. Red Dead Revolver is a beloved cult classic that showed us how fascinating the Wild West can be in the world of gaming and paved the way for the greater adventures of John Marston and Arthur Morgan. Red Dead Redemption. Release 2010. Meta 95. Release platforms PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. Cost $100 million. Sell 23 million copies. Playtime. Main story 18 hours. Main plus extras 26 hours. Completionist 46 hours. After the relative success of Red Dead Revolver, Rockstar Games, realizing the immense potential of the Western world, decided to take a much bigger next step. This time, it wasn't a chaotic project passed from hand to hand. By allocating a massive budget, significantly increasing the development team at Rockstar San Diego, and with the direct and meticulous oversight of its senior executives, Rockstar brought all its resources to the table to create not just a sequel, but a revolution in open-world games. The result of this heavy investment was Red Dead Redemption, which arrived like a storm in 2010 and not only revitalized the Western genre, but also changed the rules of video games forever. The biggest and most revolutionary change this game had compared to its predecessor was the complete overhaul of its structure. Revolver was a completely linear action game, but Redemption dropped you into the middle of a vast and boundless world. You were no longer just an actor in a pre-written story, but an inhabitant of this dynamic and living world. The beating heart of this grand world was the unparalleled story of John Marston. The game's story takes place 8 years after the events of Red Dead Revolver. John Marston, having escaped his outlaw gang, is trying to start a quiet life with his family. However, federal agents take his wife and child hostage and give him a mission. He must go back and hunt down the remaining members of his former gang. This story is the bitter tale of a man forced to destroy his past to save his future, making it one of the most tragic and memorable stories in gaming history. The gameplay also experienced a massive leap forward. The Dead-Eye system, a signature of the series, became much more advanced and deeper, allowing you to take down enemies with cinematic precision and style. The shooting and cover system made combat far more tactical than the arcade-style action of the first game. An honor system was also added, where your behavior would affect how people perceived you. This world, filled with various animals to hunt and thousands of side activities, gave you the feeling of a real life. Even graphically, the game was a masterpiece. On the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, Redemption pushed the power of these consoles to their limits. The vast and stunning landscapes, a dynamic day and night cycle, variable weather, and insane environmental details created an incredible world. This game wasn't just beautiful, it felt real. A world on the verge of great change, a feeling that perfectly harmonized with the main theme of the story. The reaction to the game was extraordinary. Critics considered it an undeniable masterpiece, praising it for its deep story, the fantastic character development of John Marston, and its unparalleled open world. Gamers also fell in love with the game, losing themselves for hundreds of hours in its boundless world. In the end, Red Dead Redemption wasn't just a sequel, it was a rebirth. By abandoning a linear path and focusing on a deep story and a living world, Rockstar didn't just make a game, it created a work of art that showed us how video games can tell powerful and deeply human stories. Red Dead Redemption: Undead Nightmare. Release 2010. Meta 87. Release platforms PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. Cost unknown. Sell 2 million copies. Playtime. Main story 6 hours. Main plus extras 8 hours. Completionist 12 hours. In an era when expansion packs were often considered mere afterthoughts for making extra money, Rockstar Games shattered all expectations in 2010 with the release of Undead Nightmare. This expansion was so extensive, creative, and high quality that it became a legend in its own right. With its unique genius, Undead Nightmare blended the serious and dramatic world of Red Dead Redemption with the ridiculous yet terrifying horror of a zombie apocalypse story, creating an experience that was both hilarious and thrilling. The story of Undead Nightmare takes place in a parallel timeline to the main game. John has returned to his farm and is living a quiet life with his wife and son. But one stormy night, a strange plague sweeps across the land, turning the dead into flesh-eating zombies. John wakes up to find that his wife and son have been bitten by zombies and have turned into them as well. After restraining his wife and son, John embarks on a desperate journey to find a cure for this terrible curse. Although the core mechanics of Red Dead Redemption remained intact, Undead Nightmare introduced significant changes and new features that transformed the gameplay from a Western shooter into a survival horror game. This expansion pack also added new weapons to the game, such as holy water and a torch for setting zombies on fire. Undead Nightmare used the same powerful engine as the original game, but the art direction was completely changed. The world was drenched in dark, matte colors and covered by a perpetual, unnerving fog. The sky often glowed with a green light, and the 3D models of the zombies were truly frightening. Although it was technically the same graphics as the main game, the artistic changes successfully transformed the beautiful landscapes of the original into a nightmarish and terrifying environment. Ultimately, Red Dead Redemption: Undead Nightmare was more than just a simple expansion pack. It was a bold and brilliant reimagining of a beloved world that, while respecting the original, created its own unique and unforgettable identity. This expansion proved that even a serious and dramatic story can be transformed into a fantasy genre piece without losing its original spirit. Red Dead Redemption 2. Release 2018. Meta 97. Release platforms PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC. Cost $300 million. Sell 80 million copies. Playtime. Main story 50 hours. Main plus extras 83 hours. Completionist 157 hours. 8 years after we shed tears for John Marston and his tragic story, Rockstar Games returned in 2018 with Red Dead Redemption 2 to not only surpass the standards it had set itself, but also to show the world how close a video game can come to being art. This game wasn't a sequel, it was a prequel, a journey into the heart of the Van der Linde gang at the height of its power, and a narrative of the slow, painful downfall of an outlaw family. Red Dead Redemption 2 is not just a game, it's a life experience. A work that, by receiving perfect scores and an average rating of 97 out of 100 from critics, has forever cemented its name as one of the best and most acclaimed games in history. The story takes us to the year 1899, 12 years before the events of the first installment. The era of the Wild West is breathing its last, and civilization is advancing with full force. This time, we step into the shoes of Arthur Morgan, the right-hand man and most trusted member of Dutch van der Linde's gang. Arthur is a gray, complex, and deeply human character whose loyalty to the gang and his faith in Dutch are challenged throughout the story. We witness the gang's desperate attempts to survive, fleeing from the law, pulling off major heists, and searching for a promised paradise that becomes more distant and unattainable each day. This game shows us how the gang that John Marston escaped from fell apart, and how Arthur Morgan, through his own sacrifice, paved the way for John's redemption. If Red Dead Redemption 1 amazed us with its open world, the second installment offered a new definition of the word detail. The game's world was insanely alive and dynamic. Every NPC had an independent daily life. Arthur had to eat, rest, and even his appearance would change over time. His hair and beard would grow, and he would become fatter or thinner depending on his diet. The gameplay was deepened in every aspect. The Deadeye system had evolved, allowing you to target vital points on enemies' bodies. Interaction with the world was unparalleled. You could talk to anyone, threaten them, or help them, and every decision you made had a specific feedback. From hunting legendary animals to fishing, gambling, and discovering hidden secrets across the map, the game provided hundreds of hours of meaningful content. Visually, Red Dead Redemption 2 was a generational leap and is still considered one of the most beautiful games ever made. The game's landscapes, from snowy, foggy mountains to muddy swamps and bustling industrial cities, were all designed with stunning detail. The lighting system, dynamic weather changes, and incredibly natural animations of the characters and horses made you feel like you were watching a high-quality cinematic film. In addition to its epic story mode, Rockstar also offered an online component, Red Dead Online. In this mode, you could create your own character and enter the game world. You could form a posse with your friends, complete online-specific story missions, immerse yourself in various roles like bounty hunter, trader, or collector, and adventure in the vast game world. Although this mode never reached the popularity of GTA Online, it still provided a deep and entertaining online experience for fans. As mentioned, the reaction to the game was beyond praise. It was a global adoration. Critics lauded the deep story and the unparalleled characterization of Arthur Morgan, the incredibly detailed and believable world, the stunning graphics, and the deep gameplay, calling it a historic achievement in the video game industry. Ultimately, Red Dead Redemption 2 was a step beyond being just a game. It is a Wild West life simulator, a character-driven drama, and an interactive work of art that showed that the potential for storytelling in the world of gaming knows no bounds. This game is an experience that everyone, whether a gamer or not, should touch at least once in their lifetime,